Ever, do you always at PAC?
No.
Fire.
Fire?
Bro. This happened yesterday too.
Oh my gosh.
My name's Tom and I go to Prince Alfred College, an all-boys school in Adelaide.
I go to Wilderness School, an all-girls school in Adelaide.
Howdy, my name's Jack and I go to Westminster School, a co-ed school in Adelaide.
You've got 5 minutes and I'm going to time it. How does that sound?
I think we all know that boys and girls are very different in nature and they grow up at different rates, and going to an all-boys school accommodates that.
Your learning is definitely enhanced as well because you've got the boys and the girls and you think differently. So it's really nice to get everyone's opinions. You learn differently.
We're kind of all bonded together for all being girls, and we're just in it together. Even if like your friend likes STEM and you like dance, like everyone is in it together.
I think the girls had summed that up pretty good.
Single sex or co-education? Is one better than the other? It's a debate that's been going on for more than 100 years. Literally. In the early 19th century, the thinking was boys and girls needed to be taught different things because they would grow up to have very different roles in society. So, in Australia, private all-boys and all-girls schools were set up for the upper class and wealthier members of the community. While boys were taught to read and write and do maths, girls' schools were less academically focused, and they were taught essential skills needed to manage and maintain a household. More than 150 years later, a lot has changed. So, is there still any need for segregated learning?
Yeah, good, thanks, hello.
The discourse that's used to justify single sex is the discourse of specialisation. And so we specialise in boys' education or we specialise in girls' education.
Helen Proctor is a professor of education at the University of Sydney. She says there's no real scientific evidence to say one version of learning is better than the other.
Schools are such complicated places that there's so many factors brought to bear that you can't really argue easily for one or the other.
Now, you've got some unknown angles and lengths here.
So I think it is very sort of school-based, very example-orientated about whether the school provides the experiences and the school provides the tailoring. I don't think necessarily it's better or worse.
It's very like individual to the person, I feel, for boys and girls. But my brother goes to a co-ed school and I think it's definitely more beneficial for him to be there than in an all-boys school because that just suits his personality.
Professor Proctor says there are far bigger factors that affect the kind of education you get in Australia, and they deserve our attention too.
We do have quite a strong correlation between social class or various measures of social class and educational success. And that's reinforced by the fact that we have some schools that are extremely well-resourced and others that are scraping by.
There are more than 9,000 schools in Australia. Less than 3% of them are single-sex. And that number keeps going down. In New South Wales, several single-sex schools have announced they'll be transitioning to co-education, a decision that's led to some backlash from parents.
They'd probably argue that they specialise and they'd say that boys benefit from being all together, having a sort of specific boy-centred world.
I think it allows the school to tailor what sort of options it offers.
At the same time, there's less pressure, I feel like, in the classroom. You sometimes get this conflict between social pressures and trying to learn. There's no clash between trying to enhance social status and learn.
Being able to socialise outside of school more so has probably helped me to be able to focus on learning as best as I can.
The advocacy for old girls' schools is that it's still an unequal world out there and it's still difficult for women out there, and so they can do the sort of boy subjects without getting embarrassed or without being shouted down by the boys.
We're really pushed and encouraged to go into fields that are originally more male dominated, like putting women in STEM and engineering and the science and mathematics types of fields.
This year I'm the digital technology representative, and that's probably something I never would have even run for if I was at a co-ed school.
Being in an all-girls school, we can realise that it's also not always about men and that we can do the things that they can do.
I think girls still do get the chance to be leaders, and I think when they do it here in an environment with boys, it's more applicable in the future.
I just feel like it adds competition because you never want to lose to a boy, I guess, personally.
Like you get the social networking with both genders, and that you're not like it's not socially awkward when you go to talk with people of the other genders.
I did go to a single-sex school, but I feel like being back at Westminster now is more rewarding. I have deeper connections. I've got better friends, both boys and girls.
Professor Proctor says a lot of single-sex schools have a long history, and a change to co-education can evoke a pretty emotional response.
So there's this strong sense of family tradition attached to the school, often very strong friendships made at school, a strong sense of going out in the world saying, I am a Newington boy, or I am a boy from one of those schools, a strong sense of identity. And then if suddenly it's changed, maybe you don't know who you are.
I think I was always going to be a PAC boy. My dad went there, same with my uncle. And yeah, I think it was always something my dad had in mind for me.
There's a couple of my family members that have been here before, a couple of my uncles.
I've never really felt like interested in leaving or going back to a co-ed school.
People think that all girls are like all drama and there's like, always gossip and there's cliques and stuff, but it's not really like that. We're all kind of a close-knit like community, and we're all just here to like support each other.
I've just loved every moment of it, and being in year 12 has made me realise that even more, that I don't have much longer here, and so I've never felt like leaving, and to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to feel like leaving when it comes to end of term 3, start of term 4.
And you're going to be forced into the big world where, the genders are mixed up all the time, 24/7, so enjoy it while it lasts, I say.